probably deserved to win this year. So the only mention that I even made about Butler in our preparation for this game relative to last year's game was, if you don't think Butler can play with us, then just take a look at the score from last year. Now, and so I thought that we got off to a really good start, obviously.
8 points in about 2.5 minutes.
Well, but we were ahead 29-14 at one point. We doubled the score, and then, much to their credit, and playing away from home, and one of the things to throw another thought into it, always tell our players after a game like Kansas, where the crowd is probably all day long, people were anticipating coming to the game to see how we would play and if we could play Kansas, and there have been times in the past when we've been very highly ranked playing another really highly ranked team, or when we haven't been still playing a highly ranked team. There's always kind of an electricity attached to those games, and one of the things that I told our players coming into this game with Butler was that the crowd was really here for the Kansas game, and I'm not sure they will be. Not that it made any difference who the opponent was. It's just that they were so keyed up.
That's not faulting the crowd.
For Saturday's game. Well, it is in a way, because the crowd, you want the crowd to be at its best every time you play, just like you want the team to be at its best every time you play. But I talked to our team a little bit about, you've got to get the crowd into the game through your play. The crowd here appreciates good basketball, probably more so, and understands it better than any crowd in America. And if we play well, they respond to that. And so I thought that our play at the start of the game just had the crowd really wrapped up in the game. I thought the crowd was very good, very much into the game. And at 29-14, I was really pleased with our play. Last year, you'll remember that we lost our first game to Butler up in Indianapolis, and then a week later came back and beat Kentucky in what had to be a really big, emotion-packed game and so forth, and all the adjectives that sometimes are meaningless and inaccurate that are applied to games like that. We came back and won a game. All right, then we played Notre Dame 2 or 3 nights later, and I've always said that that was our best game of the year, because we came back off the Kentucky game and played really well against Notre Dame. We did the same thing here off the Kansas game, coming back and played very, very well against Butler. And then we let the thing get away from us. Anytime a game gets away from you, it isn't just your fault, it's a result of what the other guy is doing also. And Butler came back and made a run of 10 against us and cut our lead from 15 to 5. And that part of the game was most disappointing to me. We got back, I think it got down to maybe 4, and we got it back to 7 at the halftime, and it could have been a couple of more. So just that one stretch of the game. But that one stretch of the game, you know, if we're going along even and somebody runs 10 on us and now they're 10 up, we may never get it back to a point where we can win. And I think that becomes the focal point for us coming out of this game. We didn't play offensively, and I think I mentioned this to you on last week's show before I'd ever had a chance to look at the tape. We didn't play offensively very well against Kansas in the second half. And once I'd looked at the tape, I felt we even played with less effectiveness, less efficiency than I had thought when you and I did the show, because I hadn't, as I said, had a chance to look at the tape yet. And Butler did a really good job of banging into us and holding us on our cuts. I mean, they kept us from going where we wanted to. That's from their standpoint. From our standpoint, we didn't do a real good job of setting up cuts and changing direction and using some deception in what we were doing in our offense. And that became a part of our play at the end of the first half. And then I thought, in the second half, we got up to whatever, a 24, 5-point lead, and we took it, and that's what we talked about at the half. We said, I told him, I said, I don't want any roller coaster. You know, I don't want a rise and a dip, regardless of how small the dip is. You know, I want to start here. You know, we're starting with a 7-point lead, and I want it to just go like this.
That's what we had talked about last week.
And
as
I
well.
wanted to have a steady rise throughout the second half.